Welcome to our second episode of Breaking Bread with Alie and Gabby. I'm Gabby Loren,
And I'm Alie Valerio.
and we're so excited for you guys to be back. This episode that we're going to cover today is all about manifesting. So, whether you've had personal experience with it, you've heard about it, but you have no idea what it means, or you'd like to try getting into it yet again and create some miracles, bring some abundance into your life, we're going to go over all the ways in which you can manifest, how you can activate manifesting, and what exactly is manifesting. So, Alie, in your experience, what is manifesting to you?
I love that. So, manifestation is something that I talk about a lot with my clients, and something that I listen, like even today, I listened to Gedalia Fenster, I listened to Gabrielle Bernstein, I listened to a meditation by Deepak Chopra. Like, basically, manifestation is whatever you think about grows. So whenever we think about positive things in our life and like even imagining like you and I doing this podcast together, we literally manifested it just by thinking about it. So whether things are good or bad, we manifest our own reality, and a lot of times sometimes we can't even choose what happens to us, but sometimes we are actually subconsciously manifesting things as well. Like if we're so focused on the negative and then we get sick. So, yeah, manifestation happens all the time. You can literally make yourself sick by manifesting it, but you can also
Right.
make it well.
It's a really great point that you bring up because a lot of people don't realize they are manifesting negative energy and negative experience consistently. Just as much as you can bring the good and the positive in, if your subconscious is constantly playing ego thoughts and it's always like, you can't, you will not, those eventually create itself physically. They manifest physically. So your thoughts are very powerful. I know we talked a little bit about wording last week, but your words and your thoughts eventually become reality. And that is what manifesting is. It's creating and cultivating in ways in which you may not even realize you're doing. You could be doing it in a subconscious way, and you definitely want to be aware of it and understand it so that you're doing it to kind of create the best life for yourself and also for your highest good as opposed to holding yourself back, right?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. I mean, I think we manifest everything that happens in our life, and it's important for us to take responsibility for our thoughts because our thoughts actually become our actions. Like, thoughts are things, right? I'm sure you've heard that many times, especially because we read so much personal development stuff, and especially in Judaism and in Torah and spirituality, like, the more you think about something, the more that you create it. I bet you because Moses believed that he could part the Red Sea, like part of that belief is a manifestation of what actually happens. You know, part of you and I believing that we can do this together, we manifested this. A part of manifesting a job or like anything. So I say one tool that I always use if I want to manifest something is meditation. I think that's one of the
Mm.
best ways to start to because it brings mindfulness to a situation, and then you can actually cultivate an experience that you really want to happen. Have you ever had an experience with that?
With doing it through meditation.
Yeah.
So it's funny because one of my areas in life that I am challenged with and working through is having anxiety and fear over finances. And now imagine the state that we're in right now, right, with coronavirus and people losing jobs and income and being laid off, situations like that. I actually talked about it a little bit last week where I feel more comfortable right now in this moment because I think I've worked through some of those fears and anxieties. But playing into manifestation, I actually discovered this author and self development guru in a way, Catherine Zankina, through some friends that I worked with and colleagues. She has a workbook about manifestation and she calls herself the manifestation babe.
Mm,
So in this workbook, it's a 21-day manifestation, challenge type of thing. And it's a workbook where you fill in your answers and responses and you do physical meditation. So that plays into your question. One of the days, and this is so crazy, but I had executed 14 days. I actually didn't even complete it. So I'm going to go back to that like probably ASAP. But I completed half of this workbook and I saw at least half of what I wrote down, the number that I was looking to receive through. So the book automatically puts $1,000 on the cover, and me and my cross that out, put an X through it, and write our own number. So I was aiming high, reaching for the stars, and I put $10,000 to manifest.
I
And
love.
when I did, it's unbelievable, Alie. So I did 14 days of this, got 14 days in, and I manifested half of that. I brought to myself so many opportunities that I was creating $5,000 of income. And I
Wow.
counted it and I was like, whoa, this is unbelievable. This is real. It works. And I'm a testament to that. So this was specifically geared towards finances and that kind of wealth and abundance. So one of the days she actually tells you, do a meditation, a visual meditation, and close your eyes and imagine your hands are out and you're just receiving money, like literally. And for me, I have just hundreds of dollars pouring into my hands.
I
And
love
that's what
that.
I'm visualizing. And you're feeling it, you're experiencing it, you're seeing it. And that whole experience of having all your senses be a part of it while you're meditating, actually creating the experience so that you can allow the space for it to come to you. And I do that now before I look at my bank card, my bank statement, my checking account mainly, because I would always get anxiety just going to do my online banking because I was always scared there was going to be nothing in there. And so I do this exercise every time before I log in, and it has worked wonders for me because I swear to you, I've been doing this book since like September, October. Every time, actually September, every time I do this, I am pleasantly surprised by the results. I am not disappointed. My anxieties go away. I now my banking statement and I am seeing that I have finances and I feel good about it. And I've not had a day go by yet when I've done that I've been disappointed since
I
then.
love that.
So, yeah, that's my experience. What about you?
I love that. Um, well, I want before I say something about my own experience, I want to tie this into Gabrielle Bernstein, another Gabby that I
I
love.
love
Uh,
Gabrielle Bernstein too.
yeah, she's amazing. So she wrote a book called The Universe Has Your Back,
Mm.
and I was listening to it today on Audible, and she was saying that there was this one time that she was speaking in front of a live audience and she was like prepping herself and she went into a meditation before that and she had some fear about speaking for some reason. And then all of a sudden it came to her in her meditation that she had angel wings. And it was like this beautiful, uplifting, like, oh my God, I have angel wings going into this thing. So she went up on stage. She said that she delivered like one of the best speeches. Like, she doesn't even really remember what she said because she was so guided by her feeling of just like being present and serving. And this lady came up to her in the end and she said, wow, you were so incredible. I felt like you had angel wings when you were
Wow.
speaking. And I was like, whoa. So, but that's
Is
the
into energy.
energy. Exactly like what we talked about last time is like
Hmm.
everything is energy. So I manifested moving to California because I was living in New York before. I I was actually going to NYU. I was going to become a dietitian. But I wasn't happy. I was kind of fed up with New York, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go visit one of my best friends in California, and I'm gonna hang out with her, and I'm gonna relax, and I'm gonna go to the beach, and like, if I have an amazing time and I meet all these really cool Californians, then maybe I'll move to California. So I went to California. I visited my best friend who I met in New York. And I had an incredible time. I met the nicest people. I met this guy who was a personal trainer who was like, oh, you should move to Cali. Like, I'll give you a job. And I was like, things just kept happening. And this one time we were out in Santa Monica and I was like, oh my God, a Ferris wheel. I haven't ridden a Ferris wheel in years. All of a sudden, we found $50 on the ground. I kid you not.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? So we find $50 on our way to get in line to go to the Ferris wheel. And I'm like, this is so cool. Everything just felt so magical, but it was like manifestation. And then I'm in line, and there are these two guys behind us, and they're like, oh, we have to get tickets to be on the Ferris wheel. And we're like, oh, yeah, we have to get tickets. And I'm like, no worries, I have $50. Like, just come with us. So these two guys end up becoming our friends. We end up
Mhm.
like hiking with them the next day. We had this amazing night. One of the other guys is like super into crystals. He's still my friend to this day. His name's Justin Boulay. He's a professional dancer. He travels around the world, and I love dance. Dance is my passion. So like this was all energy, but I literally put it into the universe. I said, if I have an amazing time on this trip, I'm going to move to California in the next year. And I did. So that was like a really positive manifestation. And now it's just like even going to Burning Man. I manifested a ticket to go to Burning Man in like 24 hours. It's like I'm going to
Mm.
find a ticket. So whatever we focus on happens to us, whether it's good or bad. So maybe we should talk a little bit more too about like how to manifest. I love that tip about the meditation with the money. That's really great. I struggle with that too. Just like a constant like scarcity feeling. So you can also
Right.
manifest abundance, right?
Definitely. So going into what you were saying about just like the ways in which you can do this, I think it's really important to talk about being grateful because you need to have gratitude and be appreciative in order for you to receive. So it's very important that you maybe even write down a list of all the things you're grateful for in your life. Like if you want to manifest something, don't feel like you're lacking in the area because if you're lacking, you're just going to manifest more of lacking and the
Oh,
lacking mentality.
it's so
So
true.
if let's say you want to get married, right? And you are single and alone and you're just not happy with this, but you want to manifest like your future husband or wife, write down all the things you're grateful for being single right now, and all your experiences and start there. And also be grateful for the space to allow you to get there, to eventually have those things. Because you are here, you are with a purpose, and you need to experience this journey in order to get to that next step. So it's not that you're lacking necessarily, but if you think and you come from a mindset of, well, I don't have this right now, so I'm not going to get it, and I'm just going to keep living this way, single, then that's the life that you're going to lead. But if you say, well, I'm single right now because I'm working on myself, but I am ready and open and opening the space for somebody else to come in,
Mm,
and being
absolutely.
proactive about it. But maybe,
Absolutely.
finding ways in which you could be grateful for it. So I think that's important. And also, I talked about it in my experience, but like visualizing living that life with a feeling. So I did it with money, but you could do it with your future life. You can literally sit and meditate on it. You can write it out in a journal. You could talk about it as if it already happened. That's a big one, right? To talk
Yeah.
about experiences. If you're going to journal, write it as though it happened yesterday. Write out your
Absolutely.
dream life or what you're wanting to experience. I've had that happen to friends. I had a friend who wrote out a whole story about how, she wanted to go to Israel, went to Israel, and her experience and who she went through and the people she met, and it manifested literally within the same week. She was
Wow.
on a group trip, like, or applied to be on a group trip. I think within 2 weeks was on it. After writing it down verbatim. Unbelievable stuff you can do with this,
I
right?
completely agree. And I think this also ties into like divine intervention, which is something that we talk about as well. Like sometimes like things happen to us and we're like, whoa, why is this happening? Like good
Mhm.
and bad, but we've attracted it to happen to us. It's like part of the higher experience, whatever God has in store for us. But we have to also think about how what we're saying to people about what we want, what we're writing down about what we want, actually truly happens, because there's also a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. And basically, like whatever you focus on grows. So if you're like, ooh, I
Mhm.
really want a red Porsche, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I see red Porsches everywhere. Like your brain will figure out ways to find whatever you said you want. So if you're like, oh, there's no good guys in LA, well, that's your story you're telling yourself, which we said talking about our stories last week. So that's what you're going to find, because that's what you've put out into the world. But if you're like, I'm working on myself, like what you said, and I'm ready and I'm open to receive love, you're going to start having a new energy, and you're going to start manifesting people in your life that are feeding off of that vibe, who are like, this is like super wooey, but it's like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like
Yes.
when I manifested each other.
Yes.
So yeah, you be aware of what you're saying to yourself and like what you're writing down. And if you're not writing down your goals, you need to start doing that now. Maybe that should be part of our homework, Gab.
Ooh, yes. Let's do it. Homework assignment number 1 today.
Number
Write
2.
down your
Oh, up to date, yeah.
Yeah, of the day. Or this week, we should say. This
Yeah.
week, find time to write down your goals or do a vision board, because that's a big deal too.
Totally, because whatever we focus on grows. Tony Robbins
Mhm.
says that. He said, whatever you focus on grows, and where focus goes, energy flows. Like, it's so freaking true. Be mindful of what you're attracting this week.
I totally appreciate that.
Right?
Wait, say that again?
How many goals should we have our people write down this week?
I would say no less than 10,
I say
but
10.
write as many as possible.
Amen. Just free
Keep
write.
it open.
Yeah.
Yes, free write. Do whatever your heart feels, whatever
Yeah.
you connect.
Let's have 10 written down by Friday. Everybody write them down. There's also there's a Harvard study that I think I might have talked about this in our first episode, but there was a Harvard study done with Harvard graduates. Okay, these are all extremely intelligent people. Half of them wrote down their financial goals, and the other half of them didn't. And then they did a study with them 30 years later to go back to see who made more money. And the people who had written down their financial goals made twice as much money as the people who hadn't. And they were all the same educated Harvard Ivy League people, but the difference was the other ones had written down their goals. So the power of goal writing is like infinite, exponential.
Unbelievable. That's like blows my mind too.
Yeah.
Wow. I would also say another important thing would be to let go of the control of the outcome. So write down your goals, but understand that there is a path, and you have to let go and let God, let him do his thing, because as long as you're being proactive, we did discuss it a little bit last week, things will flow and things will grow. And I think that everybody does have a purpose and will align with it in their own ways and in their own time. No two people are the same. No two people have the same path. So trust in the process, trust in timing. Know that if you're doing all these things, it will come. It just not may be exactly when you want it to come. And that's when you need to let patience kick in. But, don't get too attached to one way, because you be led down a different path, and that may actually wind up being something that's exponentially greater than you could have ever imagined.
That's so true. That's what Gabby Bernstein was saying today in The Universe Has Your Back, is that even though sometimes we really want to manifest something, like for a long time she really wanted to get pregnant, but she was trying to control that situation so much. And when we try to control things, it's one thing to say you want something, but it's another thing to try to control the way that it happens. And sometimes God, the universe, whatever you want to believe, Gabby and I believe in God. God has a plan for you, and you might get exactly what you want, but maybe not in the way that you thought that you were going to get it. So like, have patience with yourself and have patience with the process. But I would say don't lose sight of what your goal is, because whatever that is, you will get it, but maybe not in the traditional way that you thought you were going to get it.
Right. And there's that famous saying that we make plans and God laughs. So that's exactly what you're doing when you're trying to control everything in your life.
Yeah.
I used to be one of those people for sure. I literally thought everything had to be a certain way. And it was very hard for me to deal with that. This was like maybe, or probably right after college graduation, when I was going through these mindsets and trying to let go. I've been told over and over again, just let it be. Like, you're going to be taken care of. You're going to be okay. Just trust in the process a little bit more. I think that's necessary. And while you're doing that, don't be stuck in the past, right? Again, another thing we talked about last week. If you're living in the past and you're in that negative mindset, you're going to keep reliving that past situation over and over and over again. And you're not going to be able to move forward. That was the whole part of the changing the story topic.
Yeah.
You're not able to change your story and move forward and manifest to create a new reality if you're stuck thinking about yesterday. And this is a big deal. Eckhart Tolle talks about all the time, another one of our favorite people. If you haven't read The Power of Now, it's such a great, phenomenal book. Yes. And it teaches you how to forget about where you're going, where you came from, and just to be present and experience life, especially right now. Are you stuck at home? Are you feeling isolated? Are you feeling stir crazy? When you walk outside around your block in the neighborhood, are you actually finally, for the first time, listening to the sounds of nature, connecting, being grateful, feeling your feet on the pavement? This is that time where you can really work on being present and being grateful for it. I think that now is a perfect time for that.
I completely agree. I actually I was listening to, I'm doing, you turned me on to this too, the 21-day Deepak Chopra meditation challenge. I just restarted one with our group, and I walked on the beach today and I was listening to it, and then I turned it off and just like had silence. And I'm like, the one thing that I found about this whole pandemic is that I actually have never felt more like at one with myself.
Mm,
Like we're
that's great.
all forced, right? We're being forced to stay inside or like go outside to take a walk, and we're being forced to be alone because we can't self-soothe with being with other people and like doing activities that we've always liked to do. And what I found is that a lot of times we're not focused on what we really want. We're just focused on getting, right? Like it's like we're either
Yes.
moving towards pleasure or away from pain. And now that we can't really like do all the things we used to do, we're forced to turn inward. And this is a perfect time for you guys to listen to this podcast and for you to focus on your dreams and your goals. Like remember that this is temporary, just like life. Like it's temporary, and the more you focus on what you can control and changing yourself and impacting other people positively, the better that you're going to get through this, and you're actually probably going to have a good time through this because of what you're manifesting, and you're not manifesting fear, because fear can make you really sick. And control, I'm a control freak too, Gab. I think we're A-type females, like
Yes,
we
we
think
are.
so I get it. I don't know. A lot of this has helped me relinquish my control over like, it's like let it go, let it flow, and just manifest good vibes. Like
Definitely.
burn some
And I'm
incense.
so glad you also mentioned pleasure and pain. And we hear this all the time, especially with our rabbis in the Los Angeles area. They're always preaching this, that in order for you to experience pleasure, you need to deal with the pain. You cannot numb yourself. You cannot just think it's going to go away, shove it in the corner, pretend it's not there. If you experience it and you learn from it, you grow from it, because through discomfort, you become a greater, stronger, more beautiful person. Just
Yeah.
like a butterfly, right? When a butterfly is in its little cocoon, it needs to go through the process of becoming a butterfly. If you take it out too early, it's going to die. Like, it needs to go through that painful process of into this beautiful creature. And that's exactly how we don't work where we just experience pleasure all the time and that's it, and we're just living in utopia constantly. No, like, the human experience is to go through pain and struggle so that you can become a better person and learn from it and be relatable, but also like grow your soul and as a human being. There is no one without the other. Again, there's like a balance in life. You can't
Yeah.
just If you're only up here, then it's down here, and that's not a balance. It needs to be on even playing fields. You have your pain, and then you have your pleasure, and you just hop across to the other one once you've experienced enough of this side. Then you
Yeah.
get to pleasure, and then you get the pain, and then you go back to pleasure again. It's
I
just
agree. I completely agree. This is a good time too to like recognize pain and to be like, and also I think that's a good thing too to mention is that I think a lot of times people think that manifesting is you're like, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. It's not about pretending that you don't see problems, but it's a matter of recognizing, almost like stepping back, recognizing, okay, I see there's an issue there, but I'm going to choose to focus on the positive stuff. I'm going to choose to focus on finding a solution to this versus manifesting more crap and like more negative feelings. And I think the best way to change your state, like the best way to change anything in life is you have to go change your state. So like go for a walk, go for a run, like go pet a dog, like you have to move and you have to get out of yourself so that you don't get locked into this negative like feeling and emotion, because if you start thinking and focusing on all the negative stuff that's happening, you're going to manifest more negative stuff. Like, have you ever woken up and like stubbed your toe and then you like spill your coffee and then you're like, oh, this is the worst day in the world? Well, don't say that to yourself. Just be like, whoops, I guess I'm going to be more aware, and then start focusing on positive stuff. So it's not saying that there's no weeds. It's saying, okay, I see the weeds, but I'm going to choose to focus on the positive.
Oh yeah, for sure. At least like when you see the weeds, understanding why you're seeing them and being able to like see the good in it and be grateful for the weeds.
Right.
Because that is a big part of this is the gratitude part. So being grateful for those weeds helped you discover who you truly were meant to be. You spilled the coffee on yourself and now you're running a few minutes late to work, but you avoided an accident on the way. Like that is okay. It's okay to flow with life because that was what was meant to happen, and let it go. Like it's not life or death. Like maybe in that situation, because I was just giving you an accident, but you are okay. You're going to be okay. And that's what you need to focus on is just being grateful for those weeds and not numbing them. I think a lot of people in their ways of numbing the pain like to go to like drugs and alcohol, have addiction, right? There's so many ways of numbing stuff, avoidance tendencies, like ways in communicate. So I just think instead of building those bad habits, try to break them. So if like you want to grab a bottle of wine and finish a bottle because you're upset with what's going on at work day to day, well, maybe you write down solutions and other means to help you through the process. Talk to people. Maybe you have a therapist or a confidant that can give advice, and put the bottle away, like write it down, use a journal, speak to people, communicate, and feel those feelings, meditate on it, and then move forward. Use it to fuel you to make a change.
Absolutely. And I think another good way too is like exercise. Obviously, I'm biased, but like if you're having like after work, let's say you usually go to happy hour with your coworkers back in the day when we used to go to work, like instead of after work having a drink, go running after work, go exercise, go for a walk with a friend, like go do something that involves movement to change your state because um if you're covering up a feeling with like something like what Gabby's saying, like drugs or alcohol, you're not actually addressing the real issue. And by doing something else that's healthy, you're actually able to transform your feeling around the situation and cope. It's like a better coping mechanism, or talk to a therapist or whatever. But figure out different ways that you can maybe substitute not bad, but like negative habits that are not helping
Right.
you. And so you can do more positive things that are going to help you manifest more goodness in your life. Maybe you'll meet the love of your life on your run. Who knows?
Exactly. That's a great
Beyond the
point.
borders.
Definitely. And I would also say like clearing out energy too in your life. Like if there's stale energy anywhere around you, whether it's people or your room in your house or apartment, clean it out. Do some spring cleaning. Now is the time. Another exercise for money manifestation was to go through your purses and your wallets and clean that out. Get all those old receipts out of there, just the knickknacks that you don't need that are cluttering up your bag,
The
and make
wrappers.
it, yeah, the wrappers. Who knows what's in there, right? Like there's thousands of things, especially if you're a woman. Um, Clear it out. Keep what's essential in there. Make it clean. Sage it maybe. Clear out the energy. And then Catherine Zankina talks about putting $100 bill in your wallet or purse facing up towards you. And that's
Mm.
it's physically manifesting more physical stuff, right? Because you're physically putting $100 bill face up towards you in your bag as if you already are bringing wealth towards you.
I love
So
it.
just think about these things. I think they're really like essential tools in order to create change.
Absolutely. And also, like, I'm super ooby dooby. Like, I always have like crystals on me. I don't know. This is like a green, I'm not sure which one this is. This is like an angel crystal. But I have like different crystals that I carry around with me too, because crystals have energy. So if I feel like I'm freaking out, which honestly I default into anger, that's like my big one. If I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to get really angry, I have to walk away. I'll like hold my crystal. I'll kind of just like pray and meditate so that I'm not being so reactionary. And I think that's also a helpful tool, along with starting your day with meditation or going to sleep listening to like ambient sounds that help calm your parasympathetic nervous system. Because all of our
Yes.
systems right now, do you do that, Gab?
I actually do go to sleep. I use Insight Timer, the free version, and I go to sleep meditations. Every now and then, I also use YouTube, and I'll have like a guided meditation as I go to sleep because I believe that subconsciously, like something's getting in there.
100%. Every night I Google like sleep manifestation. I'll listen to like the 428 hertz manifestation music, and I
Mm,
wake up and I just feel awesome. And now that we've
yeah.
started this Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation challenge, now when I wake up, the first thing in the morning, I'll do the meditation in the morning, and I'm going to bed calming my nervous system down. So that's another good way for you to manifest more abundance in your life. I think that really it starts with meditation and mindfulness and writing down your goals.
Can you actually talk about the nervous system so that people that aren't aware necessarily of what you're talking about and referring to have a good
Yeah,
idea?
100%. So my background's in psychology, and basically we have the parasympathetic and a sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so there's one is our fight or flight response. As human beings, we're actually animals, so we have a natural tendency to either fight or flee. Right? This is why people avoid things, or they get mad and they like punch people. So
Yikes.
yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully.
So basically, just know that every single human being has this within their bodies, but we can calm down our parasympathetic nervous system by meditation, by mindfulness, by going for a walk. But we have to do things to physically alter our state because it's our natural tendency to go into that flight or fight response or say something stupid to someone that you love because you're
Mhm.
just like we just naturally go into it.
And it
So
becomes impulsive.
exactly, because well it's just it's automatic. It's part of your
Right.
automatic nervous system. So we can't really control it, but through meditation, through mindfulness, through yoga, like through things that take you out of this like external world and more to your internal consciousness. Let's say someone triggers you and you're like, oh, where are you? And you're like, okay, maybe this isn't them. Maybe this is me. Like, why am I getting triggered by this? And then you can walk away and like really think about what this is, and just practice not being reactionary. But it is our natural mode to react.
Right. believe it is scientifically proven that when you're meditating and doing breathing exercises, you're actually settling down the parasympathetic nervous
Yes,
system, correct?
hundred
Yeah,
thousand
so it is your brain chemistry. It is proven. So if you find yourself in this fight or flight mode and you do take time to take, 4 or 5 deep breaths in, deep breaths out, you're actually able to change what's going on in your body. So
Yeah,
I think it's super important to A, do your research on this, and then B, work on ways to be better and less reactionary, right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
and going to sleep with these meditations are super helpful. And I will tell you, this is probably some of the best sleep I get when I do that, and most deep sleep as well. Really
absolutely.
relaxes you.
Yeah, but you don't have to be some crazy yogi guru to do this, you guys. You can literally like, do you want to do this for a second, Gab?
Sure, what's up?
You can just like hold your hands out, and like if you're, let's say you're seated, right? You can hold your hands out like this. You can put your fingers together here, and then put them on your lap.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Or
then
even, this is what I like to do, this shape. It looks uncomfortable the way I'm showing you, but I then put it in the center of my lap. But it's literally like, let me actually go down here. It would be like this. You can
mm,
see that.
yeah, that's good
It's
too.
super
Hold your solar
relaxing.
plexus. But whether you're doing this or just open receiving, just like take a second, sit in a corner, close your eyes, like breathe in your nose. And then breathe out your mouth. And try doing that 5 times. So breathe in your nose.
We should do it for a podcast.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do 3 more. Breathe in your nose and out your mouth. Let's go one more deep breath in. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. You almost feel
Amazing.
high.
Now I'm ready to go to sleep.
Woo! And then think about getting mad. You'll be like, I'm just so chilled out. And what do? We just took 5 breaths in your nose,
Yeah.
your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this will imagine you have a partner, husband, wife, and you're arguing. Take those 5 deep breaths in and out, and then give it a response. Wait,
yeah, let's try
react.
it this week, you guys, and let's manifest some true abundance. Like, as a
Right.
collective consciousness, we have to manifest a better world and, like, just know that this is all happening for us. So, make sure you guys write down this week your top 10 goals.
Yeah. Top 10 goals and write more if you please. I'd also give another homework assignment. I would say from any of the things that we've talked about in this podcast tonight, make sure you choose at least one thing to take away from this and try, whether it's journaling your future life, you know, um, doing a visualization meditation, whatever it may be, try one thing at some
Amen.
point, and let us know in the comment section, if you had an experience, DM us. You could definitely follow us on social media. But before we close it out for the night, I do want to bring up one more thing. And I think it's very important for us to shed light on the idea of utilizing affirmations when you're manifesting. So making sure that if you want to manifest, a partner in your life, that you are exuding confidence. And if you feel like you're a little bit insecure, that you work on your confidence, that you write down little notes for yourself. I am a confident, amazing human being. Whatever it may be, write those notes for yourself. Say those affirmations to yourself, whether out loud or quietly, in meditation. But think about it and let that lead to a beautiful life. If you want to, create more abundance and more wealth, I am wealthy. Those are
Mhm.
affirmations. They're
I love that.
statements and affirmations, whether or not you are or not, it doesn't matter. Just say it, right?
I love that. Actually, Mike, I have a business coach who not makes me, but allows me to send every morning. He has me send three things I'm grateful for, one I am statement, and then what my first down of the day is, like what's my focus for the day. So today I was like, I'm grateful for the bed that I woke up in. I'm grateful for my family and my friends. I'm grateful for my
Mhm.
clients, and I'm extra grateful for the sun and the sky. And then I put, I am abundant and I am here to serve. And my focus for the day is to show up with power and to love people. So I
I
think,
love that.
yeah, but the I am statements, you're so right, Gabby. Like, I think we should add that onto our homework for people this week is that,
It's a lot of
right?
homework.
Yeah, whatever. The more homework you do now, the less you'll have to do later. I'm just kidding. We're
Good
always
point.
working on ourselves, though. Hopefully, you watch us in 10 years and be like, whoops, I need to write down my goals. Um, no, but write down an I am statement or pick like an accountability friend and be like, hey, let's send I am statements to each other or something. And like one thing you're grateful for. And that holds you guys accountable and it kind of makes it fun because you are whatever you say you are. I'm stupid, then you'll be stupid. I'm abundant, then you'll be abundant. I'm wealthy, I'm beautiful, whatever it is, just say it and you're right.
Mhm.
You will manifest that in your life.
And if you say it or write it enough times, you eventually believe it yourself. And I think if you're sending it to an accountability partner, well, great, because now you're putting it into the universe energetically. You're writing it, you're sending it. The waves are going out. So you're creating an experience. And I think that's even more powerful.
I love it.
So I
I
think
love it.
we need some I am partners. We need to
Let's do
start
it.
this.
Let's be a partners this week.
Let's do it. I'm down. And I actually think even for our pro series, which is our one of our classes we did with our rabbi, we need to have them all do this. We should put it in our group chat.
Let's do it. Let's
We're
do it.
doing it.
All
Amazing. Well,
right, guys.
thank you, Alie, so much. It was a pleasure breaking bread with you.
Yes, girlfriend.
Let everyone know where they can follow you and DM you if they have questions or
Yeah.
want to let you know about their experience.
So you can follow me on Instagram. It's Alie V Health, ALIE, V as in Victor, and Health, HEALTH. I'm also on Facebook. Same thing. Follow me, Alie V Health. And what about you, Gab?
And you guys can connect with me on Twitter or Instagram at Gabby Loren TV. That's GABBY LOREN TV. But also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more
Yes.
awesome topics on our Breaking Bread podcast show. We're super
Yes.
excited to bring you guys amazing content. So if you have any suggestions on what you want to hear or work on, please let us know.
From your two favorite Jewish girls.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.
Love you guys.
Bye.
An amazing day.